Hello, my boys and girls. I'm so excited to be back with you. I missed you so much. We are November 9th, 2020. It is Monday of a new week. So close to our Thanksgiving break in 2 weeks. Um, you know, as the days pass by, it just makes me think how amazing it is to be your guys' teacher and to be able to be with you all during this, I would say, crazy times that we're facing. But thank you, boys and girls, for not giving up, for always working extremely hard, for doing all your work and everything that you need to complete to make sure that you are in the right path to get to third grade. So today we're going to finish lesson 24. We did start this on Monday, and I know that we were able to do our informative paragraph. For my homeroom and Mrs. Allen's homeroom, I did speed up at the last part, so I will touch base a little bit about the checklist today with you all. So I'm excited for that, and we're going to finish lesson 24. And that just makes us one more lesson closer to our ENA module. Isn't that exciting? So let's get started. Our objectives is that students will be able to identify the connections between text and module learning. You will publish an informative paragraph about the impact of weather on leaves in fall. So on Friday, we did our informative paragraph and we discussed it and we brought our ideas together to complete it, right? So today we're going to be looking at that informative paragraph and give each other the feedback necessary that we need to give ourselves to grow and be ready for our ENA module. So our what? I know Ms. Rodriguez mentioned them. You can go through them and read them. It is the same ones like on Friday. We're going to be working on with the informative text. We're going to publish, prepare, and finish our final piece of writing. That's what we did on Friday. We're going to work on the topic statement. That is something that we discussed together. And of course, our evidence and then our conclusion. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today in our recorded video is we're going to give each other our feedback, looking at our informative paragraph, and then we are going to transition into reflecting a little bit before we even start our deep dive. In our live lesson, we will be talking about all the knowledge that we have gained in these lessons that we read the book, Why Do Leaves Change Color? Okay, so let's get started with our feedback. So at this time, what you need to do is you need to get your blue workbook. You need to get your blue workbook, and you are going to open it to handout 24A. Blue workbook, handout 24A. Okay, blue workbook, handout 24A. I'll give you 10 seconds to get that out. Blue workbook, handout 24A. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and awesome. So we have our handout 24A. Make sure that you do have idea 56 and 57. This is very important for us to do every single time that we have a new assignment to do. So write your name, date, and goal. At this time, I'm also going to ask you to get your informative paragraph out. So we did write it in our response journal, so make sure that you get your informative paragraph out, okay? Because you're going to need to look at your informative paragraph, and then you're going to be looking at your blue workbook. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds to get your informative paragraph out from your response journal. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Okay. So the very first sentence that we have here, it says, I understand how the weather impacts leaves in fall. So we look at our paragraph. Did you fully understand how weather impacts leaves? If you feel that you did understand that, then mark a plus, a positive. If you feel that you did not understand, or you're not yet understanding why leaves change color, then you write a triangle, and that means for not yet. So if you write, I understood why leaves change color, so I'm going to write a plus, and that is for yes. Now we're going to go to the structure of our informative paragraph. So this is where we're going to be looking at the different parts of the informative paragraph and see if we used all that informative paragraph needs to have. So I introduced the topic with a topic statement. If you look carefully at my informative paragraph, you see that the one in black is my topic statement. Now you are going to look at your informative paragraph, and do you have a topic statement? If you do have a topic statement, perfect, you write a plus sign. And if you do not, or you do not yet have it, maybe you will later on once you edit it, then you put a triangle. Now we're going to, I include at least 3 sentences with evidence, and this is where we used our evidence chart to include the sentences in our informative paragraph. So if you look closely at the one I did, you can see that I included the 3 different sentences or evidence in the different colors, right? So I put, the evidence in complete sentences. You might have a different type of wording, but if you included that, then make sure that you write a plus as well. Next one is that I use sequencing words. Those are the temporal words. First, then, and finally. Let's look at my informative paragraph. I did. Now you look at your informative paragraph. Did you include these temporal words? If you did include those temporal words, make sure that you put a plus. If you have not included those temporal words, put a triangle. Be honest to yourself, because when you reflect about your work, you get better. Okay, don't worry if, oh my goodness, I did not put it this time. Okay, maybe next time you will. The next one is I concluded the paragraph with a conclusion, and mine is the green one. I did put the conclusion that we shared together. So I would put a plus. If you have not put a conclusion, then you put a triangle. It's up to you. You're looking at your informative paragraph. You're not following along to what I'm putting. You are using your own informative paragraph, so yours might look different from mine. Next one, my evidence relates to the topic and helps develop my points. So I feel my evidence does relate to the topic. It talks about the leaves being green. It talks about the chlorophyll. So I am going to put a plus, but make sure that you look at this one very carefully. Okay, did you use evidence from the evidence chart? Then you put a plus. If you used evidence that you remembered or that might not be part of the topic, then make sure you put a triangle. The next part is I use words that are about the topic. Yes, like I said, I use leaves, I use weather, I use chlorophyll. I use simple and compound sentences. Yes, I use some of the compound sentences. It's, that I use temperature changes and chlorophyll fades, right? It's showing what is going on. Then we go to the back. It says, I combine sentences by using and, but, and so. Yes. Each of my sentences has one or more subject and verb. Yes. Then you're going to count your total number of checks. That means your total number of pluses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we got a perfect score. Then you're going to write your writing goal. So if we have not provided feedback, that it's okay, but the writing goal needs to involve of what you gave yourself on your informative writing checklist. So let's say, for instance, you did not use the sequencing words. You will put that your writing goal for next time will be that you will include those sequencing words, okay? So now we're going to do a small reflection. So if you look carefully on our the things that we have done, you will find yourself looking at all the knowledge that you have gained. So in this one shows that you will get 3 post-its. We will not, give you post-its, but I want you to think 3 things you learned about leaves and trees in fall. Think about them. Think about those 3 things you learned about leaves and trees in fall. Then you're going to think of 2 things you learned about using keywords to understand a text. Keywords are the key terms that we use: the chlorophyll, the leaves, the pigments, change, all of those. By using those words, how did you understand the text better? And now you're going to think of 1 thing you learned about writing an informative paragraph. So here is what I am going to tell you, or I'm going to model it for you. So 3 things I learned about leaves and trees in fall is that leaves stop producing food for the trees. The trees rest they start getting ready for their winter rest, and that leaves change color, right? 2 things I learned about using key terms is that I understood how important the chlorophyll was for the leaf. And then I also understood that the pigments are already in the leaf. It's just that they're being overpowered by the chlorophyll. And 1 thing you learned about writing an informative paragraph is that now I'm able to know how to write a conclusion, because a conclusion was barely introduced. So that is something that I wanted to show you, how I did that 3, 2, 1 small reflection of the lessons that we have just done. Now we're going to continue to our deep dive, and our deep dive is very fun, boys and girls, because we're going to be identifying simple and compound sentences. So it's going to be a fun deep dive. So the reason why I said simple and compound sentences is because compound sentences are connected by a conjunction. Okay, so when you have a compound sentences, that means that there's a conjunction there. A conjunction is like and, but, or, so. And I know that you guys did an awesome deep dive with Ms. Rodriguez, where you guys were identifying those conjunctions and you were writing the meaning of it. So now we're going to be looking at this paragraph, and we're going to we're going to identify the conjunctions of the paragraph. And it says, changes in weather cause the many different colors of leaves. At first, the summer air holds a lot of sun and water. The chlorophyll in the leaves helps the leaves absorb this sun, water, and air. Then, the temperature gets colder in fall, so there is not as much sun for the leaves to absorb. The leaves stop making chlorophyll and the green color begins to disappear. Finally, the other colors in leaves can be seen. All these changes in fall and weather help us get ready for the cold. So at this time, I want you to look at the paragraph and see where you can identify some conjunctions or where you can use some conjunctions to combine the sentences. So here it says find the conjunctions in this paragraph, but basically you are going to be also looking at where you can find where you can add some conjunctions to it. So if you were thinking of this one right here, yes, you are right, boys and girls. Then the temperature gets colder in fall, so there is not as much sun for the leaves. So is a conjunction. If you were thinking of that one, awesome job. So here is one of the things that I want you to think for when you are working with conjunctions. When you are adding a conjunction, you need to make sure that you are also able to have those two complete sentences. At times we tend to want to add a conjunction and think, oh, this is my compound sentence, but it's not. So if you look carefully at here, it says, at first the summer air holds a lot of sun and water. We know that it can be used as a conjunction, but it's not combining two simple sentences into one compound sentence. But then if you look at this one, then the temperature gets colder in fall, so there is not as much sun for the leaves to absorb. Then there you are using that conjunction to become a compound sentence. Okay. You will have more opportunities, especially when we do our next focusing question test before in a module, to practice using compound sentences and conjunctions. Okay, so the next part that we're going to do is we're going to prepare our knowledge journal for our live class. So at this time, you should already have your response journal out. So all you have to do is turn to your knowledge journal tab and go into your next blank page so that we can prepare our knowledge journal for our live class and we don't have to use time in our life to do this. So first we write idea 56 and 57. So we're going to write idea 56 and 57. And we are November 9th, 2020. And our goal is 100%. Like I've told you guys before, I like to, the lights just went off. Don't worry guys, I'm still here. I like to put the lesson number and what module we are. So it is lesson 24. Lesson 24. And it's module 1. Okay, lesson 24, module 1. And of course, we're going to put what I know and what I can do. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to have that ready before I tell you the next thing. Okay, boys and girls, so please have this ready for your live class. We are going to be discussing all the knowledge we have gained throughout this last focusing question. So please be ready to share and let us know everything you have learned and everything that you have learned to do. Have a wonderful live lesson. Thank you, boys and girls, for being amazing.